Hello everyone, hope you all are having a great day. Today we are going to learn about the topic relationship of miasms to pathology according to Dr. J.H. Allen. So let's start. Introduction. The relationship between miasms and pathology represents a fundamental debate in homeopathic philosophy. Miasms denote the dynamic, invisible, pre-pathological causes of chronic disease. Pathology represents the gross structural or functional changes observed in the body. Hahnemann and later authors like J.H. Allen emphasized that homeopathy must focus on the miasmatic and dynamic nature of the disease, not merely its pathological expressions. Hahnemann's view on miasms and pathology. In chronic diseases, Hahnemann identified psora, syphilis, and psychosis as three fundamental chronic miasms. He proposed that miasms are true underlying causes of chronic diseases which manifest as various pathological conditions over time. Hahnemann valued pathology only as a secondary aid. Hahnemann placed totality of symptoms at the center of diagnosis and treatment. Pathology, a static outcome and not the cause. According to J.H. Allen, the chronic miasms, postmortem changes and pathology are not the end of miasmatic action but merely physical results of deep-seated disturbances. Miasmatic action may precede pathology for years. For example, suppressed skin eruptions may later result in asthma or epilepsy, yet the pathological lesion arises long after the miasmatic force has been active. Pathological diagnosis is often variable, theory dependent, and subject to change, whereas symptomatology is more universal and reliable. There can be no security in pathological prescribing per se, as each case depends upon judgment and knowledge of the individual. Functional versus structural disturbance. Miasm begin as at the dynamic level, disrupting function before structure. Hence, a patient may present with functional symptoms without detectable pathology, especially in early disease stages. Allen states that if the law of similars can apply in one such case, it can apply to all, even in the absence of structural findings. But let us remember these facts that postmortem changes and pathology are not always the end of miasmatic action or the end of the disease. Important points. Postmortem findings are often misleading and not representative of the disease process. Two pneumonia cases may appear similar anatomically but differ greatly in symptoms and experience. Rejection of pathological school. Allen criticizes the pathological school, example Dr. Richard Hughes, for relying on diagnosis and disease names rather than individual symptom totality. Hughes believed that linking pharmacodynamics with pathology would be more scientific, but Allen refutes this, saying it undermines the very basis of homeopathy. Allen says diagnosis is not always a positive thing, while symptomatology is always positive. This is an important point, will fetch you good marks. Role of symptomatology in detecting miasms. A single persistent symptom may point to a chronic miasm even before pathological signs emerge. Suppression of such symptoms, example, eruptions, discharges, may lead to deeper pathological consequences such as degenerative diseases. 7th, holistic and dynamic approach. Homeopathy recognizes the human being as a dynamic entity. Miasms represent chronic taints in the vital force. Pathological findings are late stage results, while therapeutic intervention should focus on the earlier dynamic symptoms. This is hallmark of miasmatic approach. 8th, practical implications in case taking and prescription. A thorough miasmatic history is essential for chronic cases. Example, family history or tuberculosis, cancer, suppressed skin diseases. Remedies should be selected based on totality, especially focusing on peculiar characteristic and individualizing symptoms, not just pathological diagnosis. SORA, functional disturbances. SORA affects the vital force and nerve centers, causing functional disorders without immediate and structural damage. Early signs include itching skin, mental restlessness, hypersensitivity, and chronic weakness. SORA is the basis of all non-syphilitic and non-psychotic pathology. It is the soil upon which the other two grow. Important point will fetch you more marks. Psychosis, overgrowth and accumulation, leads to excess tissue proliferation, infiltration, hyperplasia, and warty growths, often linked to with pelvic disorders, rheumatism, kidney affection, catarrhal states, and tumors. Psychotic taint is responsible for infiltration and overgrowth, the piling up of cells and tissues out of all proportion to elimination. Syphilis, destruction and ulceration, characterized by degeneration, necrosis, ulceration, and disorganization of tissues, includes deep-seated affections like caries, aneurysms, malformations, and arteriosclerosis. Syphilis is the miasm of destruction. It attacks the tissues with violence that crumbles structure and function alike. Okay, so this is double inverted point. Will fetch you more marks. Miasmatic combinations. Combination miasms, example psychosyphilitic, sorasyphilitic, produce complex mixed pathologies. It is not uncommon to find in one patient the creeping destructiveness of syphilis working side by side with the infiltration of psychosis and nervous dyscrasia of SORA. Double inverted point means it will fetch you more marks. It's directly quoted. Clinical implications. Understanding the miasmatic background is essential for identifying the true nature of chronic disease, selecting deep-acting anti-miasmatic remedies, preventing mere palliation. You may treat symptoms and remove them, but if you fail to recognize and treat the miasmatic soil, the disease will return in new forms. Very important point. It will fetch you more marks. So we finish with the topic. Thank you, have a nice day and keep supporting.